Hello, Rebecca here, and today I wanted to create a video as a follow-up to a YouTube video that I made back in July of 2018, almost 4 years ago. And that video has been one of my most popular videos on my channel, of the few videos that I have so far. But what I created and shared with you was an Etsy fees versus website cost calculator, like a comparison calculator. What this is a spreadsheet that I made in Google Sheets where you can enter your Etsy shop stats and your expected or current website expenses, and you can compare the different fees involved with the two platforms. The reason why I made this is because a lot of people wonder if it's even worth it to have their own website, if it's going to pay off for them. They don't know if they can drive enough traffic to make it worth it. And so this was a way that I figured we could remedy this doubt, was to create a calculator so you can crunch the numbers. I don't know if you're a geek like me, but I like to crunch the numbers. I know that a lot of Etsy sellers are feeling really frustrated or upset right now at the recent news. Again, Etsy is increasing their transaction fee. So back in July of 2018, the original reason why I created this calculator was when Etsy increased their transaction fee from 3.5% to 5%. Now, 4 years later, here we are again, and effective April 11th, Etsy's transaction fees will now be 6.5%. So another little bump up there. I understand this frustration. However, I do really believe that Etsy is still an amazing platform and resource for handmade sellers to sell their handmade products. And the reason why it's worth it to be on it, if you can, is they are a marketplace, which is different than building your own website, whether it be on Shopify or WordPress. With Etsy, it's a marketplace with traffic already built in. There's a lot of people already going to Etsy in order to search for handmade products. The whole purpose of the website is shopping for handmade products. So even more specific than a marketplace like Amazon or eBay or Facebook Marketplace, people are specifically going to Etsy to get unique handmade products. Etsy is really great for marketing purposes, getting new eyeballs, for new people to discover you because of their search feature. So you're more likely to be found in a smaller pond like Etsy rather than the entire World Wide Web. Plus, Etsy results show up in Google searches too. So that's something to keep in mind, that it's another place for you to be discovered, and these are people who would have not found you otherwise. So I do think that it is really worth it to get started on Etsy. However, there is a tipping point where you are making enough sales on Etsy and you are driving enough of your own traffic to where it makes sense to consider building out your own website, and instead of directing your traffic to Etsy, you are directing your traffic to your own website where you have ownership, control, and you are not paying that transaction fee. The Etsy traffic that is coming into your shop, think about how much of that traffic Etsy is driving versus how much you are driving. And the traffic that Etsy drives is traffic that you would not have had access to otherwise. So they are taking that 6.5% transaction fee, rightfully so. That is their referral fee. That is basically the commission for being your salesperson. Now, the traffic that you drive yourself from your social media, from your email list, from business cards or things that you put in your packages, or friends and family, anywhere that you are trying to generate that traffic to your own shop, if you're driving that traffic to Etsy, you're paying them a commission, basically a sales commission, when you are the one that made the sale. So that's where there is that gap, that opportunity for you to keep those transaction fees for yourself. Instead, by making those sales on your own website, you save that transaction fee on the traffic that you are driving. So that's the key here, is the traffic that you drive versus the traffic Etsy drives. For the purposes of this calculator, we're really only wanting to factor the traffic that you are controlling. The main differences between a website and Etsy are, in terms of fees, are your website does not have a listing fee. Your website does not have a transaction fee. you do still have payment processing fees, and you still have to ship your products, and you're going to have to pay for a shipping label no matter what. So the main things to focus on here are the fact that you're saving the listing fee and the transaction fee. With your website, you can list as many products as you want, and you can make as many sales as you want. And the more listings and sales that you have, you are not paying any more than you were if you were making no sales or had no listings. So it's a fixed expense if you are not counting the payment processing fee. Everything that goes above and beyond is more and more and more profit. Whereas with Etsy, the fees are specifically tied to the number of listings that you have and a percentage of your sales. So the more listings you have, the more you're paying. The more sales you're making, the more you're paying. Let's just dive in. In order to access this calculator, go to bexmarie.com/calculator, and that will take you to this page. All right. This is the landing page for you to access the calculator. So you're going to go ahead and click on here. You'll enter in your name and your email address, and then I will email you a link to the calculator. And this is what the calculator looks like. The calculator is going to open up in Google Sheets. And from here, what you're going to do is click on File and make a copy, and you can save it to your own Google Drive so that you can edit it, because it's a read-only file right now. I just want to go ahead and walk through this with you so that you kind of get an understanding of how it works, and we're going to do a couple of little test numbers. I've got a couple of numbers here I want to crunch for you, and one thing to make sure that you understand is that nowhere in this calculator do I do anything with shipping. This is really just focused on the transaction fees, payment processing fees, listing fees, website hosting fees, and then maybe if you have plugins or themes or anything like that. I tried to put a lot of tooltips in here, so if you hover over any of these boxes with a little triangle, it will give you a little bit of information, either where to find this information if you are entering it, or I will tell you what to estimate. These 3 green boxes here and these 2 green boxes here, this is where you are going to enter your specific stats or costs. And then with these other boxes, I will sometimes just tell you how I calculated that number, but you can always click on it and you can see the formula anyway. All right, so first you're going to go into your Etsy stats and you're going to pick a time frame. So you could choose to do this on like a monthly calculation or an annual calculation. That's your choice. Go into your Etsy stats, and on the drop down, it gives you options for like last month, last 30 days, previous year. So pick a time frame. And then for that time frame, you're going to enter the number of orders you had, you're going to enter the amount of revenue that you brought in, and you are going to enter the percentage of traffic that Etsy drove. All right, so let's go ahead and put in some test numbers here. So we're going to do, let's say 71 orders, $3,861, and Etsy drove 36% of that traffic, which means you drove 64% of that traffic. And how much of that revenue was driven from Etsy versus how much was from you. Now, this may not be perfect because this is literally just done by this percent, this revenue. Maybe the traffic from you was actually more valuable and converted better, but I don't have, we're not getting that granular. This is just an estimation. This is just a crunch some numbers and get a baseline. All right, so then when you go down here is that it's going to tell you what the Etsy fees estimate, again, was for making those sales on the Etsy platform. You don't have domain and hosting, and you don't pay anything to have an account. Now, the listing fees. What I did here was multiply 20 cents times the number of orders. So, this is only choosing one listing fee per order, so it's a conservative minimum. Again, this might not actually be 100% accurate, but we're talking 20 cents here, so it's not going to be a huge discrepancy, hopefully. Right here, now I have effective April 11th, 2022, the 6.5% transaction fee. If you want to run the numbers with the old, for right now, I'm keeping the calculator 2.0, which was the old 5%, but I'm probably going to be deleting this tab in a few months because it's not going to be as relevant. I recently updated the calculator to this new version, and this is where I updated a couple of different things, including the 6.5%. If you want to see a list of all of the changes that I made, you can click here on this handy little change log that I've now started documenting what versions, the dates that I'm updating it, and what I've done. Okay, so 6.5% of your revenue is $250. Then you've got the payment processing fees. This is based on the USA. So if you are in a different country, you can change this. It's just, for right now, I'm just doing it the 3% plus 25 cents, which is Etsy payment fee. So in total, you paid about $398 in Etsy fees. And if you consider that you drove 64% of that traffic, 64% of this number is $255. So it's basically saying you paid $255 to Etsy unnecessarily. And if you were to drive this traffic to your own website, you would have not had to pay that because you would be driving that traffic to a platform that does not charge these fees. Now, let's go to your website. If you drove your own traffic to your own website instead, now this is where you want to put in what you expect to pay for your website, and this varies a lot, and this is very personal. Now, in these tooltips, I gave you some tips on WordPress versus Shopify, how much I pay, how much you might expect to pay, those kind of numbers. So if you have already done some research and you know what you would expect to pay for your website, go ahead and put that in. So for this website here, we're going to stick with $26.13 a month for the domain and hosting. And this is a hypothetical WordPress website built on SiteGround hosting with their mid-level plan, which I believe is called Grow Big. It's called Grow Big. That's the plan that I'm on. In fact, this is exactly how much I pay for my website. And then for the themes, plugins, apps area, this is taking into account the Beaver Builder plugin and theme combination, which is what I pay for every year for my own website. If this is your monthly website expenses, and then the payment processing fees on your own website are going to probably be through PayPal or Stripe. Again, I'm in the US and this is kind of what I'm going off of, but that's 2.9% plus 30 cents per transaction. So now I've calculated that out to be $85.29 here. And then that brings your total estimated website fees for that traffic, specifically that 64% to your own website. You're looking at $111.42. And then this basically spits out the difference. And so this has a little bit of conditional formatting. So if this number is orange and red, then it's going to say basically you should stay on Etsy and just don't even worry about a website right now. But if it's aqua and green, like this one is, then maybe it's an option to think about, okay? It's basically saying that it would be $143 per month less if you were to drive all of that traffic to your own website and successfully convert all of those same sales on your own website. I know this is a lot of assumptions that we're making here, but this is just to kind of get your brain thinking along the lines of, is this a good idea or not? Okay. So there's one hypothetical scenario. Another scenario I wanted to do was the same Etsy numbers, but assuming a Shopify website. So now for the Shopify website costs, I'm going to do $30.16 for the domain and hosting. That is Shopify's $29 a month, plus they charge $14 a year for your domain. So I've, divided that by 12 and come up with $30.16. Now, as far as theme, plugin, and apps, the way Shopify does themes is a little bit different than WordPress. You don't pay annually, so I'm going to put nothing here for a theme. As far as apps, I'm just going off of using the Rewind app, which is a backup app. It takes backups of your website, and then a $15 a month app called Gem Pages, which is a page builder app, which is basically the equivalent, the Shopify equivalent of Beaver Builder, which I use for my website. So to keep it kind of even here on my website, and what I had calculated with the WordPress expenses included backups, automated daily backups, and a page builder, a drag and drop page builder to make your life way easier. Okay, so now here you see that the new numbers are 115 and 139. So you can see here a little bit of a difference in how much you're going to be saving per month. Now, let's run these numbers all over again, but do a year. So for this particular example, I'm going to use 394 sales and $22,200. Now on your Etsy stats, it just says like 22.2K. If you wanted to be more specific, you could go ahead and put in like your exact number. And then the traffic from Etsy in this case was 40%. And then the website expenses for this one would be $313.54 for the whole year for domain and hosting. And then for the theme and plugin, we're looking at $119.40. This, like I said, this is exactly what I pay for my own website. So now you can see it over the course of a year. If you have your website up for a whole year and you are consistently driving your own traffic to your own website and converting that traffic into sales, here's what it would look like. $2,286.30 total Etsy fees paid. Now, if you're only counting for the traffic that you are controlling, that's $1,300 that you're paying Etsy to facilitate sales from the customers that you got yourself. Whereas if you would send those people that you got yourself to your own website, you're going to pay $770 for the year to have that website. So therefore, it's saving you about $600 a year if you can successfully convert all those people on your own website. So I hope that you like this calculator. I really would like you to download it, play around with it, and then let me know what you think. On the calculator, down here at the bottom, there's a leave feedback tab. So go on here and take a look at it, and you can click this button right here and submit a Google form and let me know your thoughts. And if you find any bugs or weird things or something doesn't add up to you, go ahead and leave me feedback. And then also you can check out this tab. This is the do-it-yourself website tab. If you are interested in building and launching your own website, you can find more information about the resources that I offer here. And then again, there's the changelog. So yeah, that's about all I have for you today with the Etsy fees versus website costs comparison calculator. And leave a comment below and let me know if you downloaded the calculator and used it. What did you find out? Is it going to be better for you to just stick with Etsy, or are you realizing that maybe a website is going to be something that you are going to opt in for sooner rather than later? Maybe with this new fee increase, you're realizing that it's going to make sense a lot sooner to start investing in your own website. If you ever need help with your own website, please explore all the videos on my channel. That's what I teach. I teach people how to make their own websites. And check out my website, check out all my resources, join the Facebook group, all of the things. All the links will be down below. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel if you want more Etsy website stuff. That's pretty much what my channel is all about. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.